Let me say this before anything else, brother. If she chose someone else, I know exactly what that feels like. That gut-wrenching moment where it seems like someone just stepped into your place, like you were nothing more than a temporary chapter in her story. You're probably sitting there asking, what does he have that I don't? But here's the truth no one talks about. It was never about him. And believe it or not, it's not even about you. It's about her. Her choices, her values, her timing, and her unfinished journey. You didn't lose her. She simply chose a path that was never meant for you to walk. And the most powerful move you can make right now isn't chasing her. It's standing still, with dignity, and letting her walk away. Not because you're okay, but because you're finally loving yourself enough to stop bleeding for someone who looked the other way. Point 1. When she leaves, don't try to fill the silence. The instinct most men have is to rush into distraction, text someone, post something, jump into a rebound. But that silence she leaves behind, that's not punishment. That's an invitation. It's the quiet space where you finally confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Think of it like a room that was once filled with noise, music, voices, chaos. And suddenly, everyone leaves. Now, you're alone with your thoughts. And for the first time, you hear things you never noticed before. That silence, that's where you meet you. Not the man who needed her, but the man who now needs himself. Let it echo, let it hurt. Because that's where the rebuilding starts. Not in the noise, but in the stillness. Silence can be intimidating. It forces you to sit in the reality you were trying to ignore. But the truth is, every man needs this silence. Not to stay in pain, but to understand it. Because once you understand it, you grow beyond it. Don't try to silence your pain with distractions. Let the silence become your mirror, reflecting what needs to change, what needs to heal, and what needs to be loved inside you. That silence is sacred. It's not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a better chapter. Point 2. Stop comparing yourself to the man she chose. I get it. Your mind starts playing tricks. You wonder if he's better looking, richer, more charming, and suddenly you're questioning everything about yourself. But you need to understand, this was never a competition. You don't know his demons. You don't know what he hides when no one's watching. She didn't pick him because you weren't enough. She picked him because that's where she's at. Maybe she needed something new, something temporary, something chaotic. And the more you compare, the more you lose sight of your own greatness. You are not an option on a shelf. You are a man of depth, of value. If she couldn't see that, let that be her loss, not your identity. You weren't designed to be like him. You were built for something else, something bigger, something more meaningful. Don't let her choice define your confidence. Let it refine your standards. Because the right woman won't make you feel like you need to compete. She'll make you feel at home. Point 3. Don't let her memory rewrite the truth. It's easy to romanticize things once they're gone. To remember only the sweet moments, the laughs, the soft touches, the late-night talks. But be honest with yourself. You remember the nights she made you feel invisible, the times she pulled away and left you questioning your worth. You were holding it together while she tested how far you'd bend. Don't let nostalgia lie to you. If she truly valued you, she wouldn't have looked elsewhere. You're not grieving perfection. You're letting go of something that was already falling apart. Nostalgia is dangerous because it filters the truth. It makes you crave the feeling, not the facts. But healing doesn't come from illusions. Healing comes when you accept reality for what it is. And sometimes, that reality hurts, but it also frees you. You deserve someone who doesn't make you question yourself. Someone who shows up. Someone who chooses you, daily. Point 4. Her absence is not rejection. It's redirection. It might feel like she looked at you, looked at him, and chose him because you weren't good enough. But that's not what happened. Her leaving is not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of where she's at. Maybe you were ready to grow and she wasn't. Maybe you were looking for peace and she still craved chaos. Either way, don't wear her decision like a scar. Think about all the times you didn't get what you thought you wanted, only to realize later that it was a blessing. This is the same. What feels like rejection today is guiding you back to your own path, your own standards. One day, you'll look back and thank her for walking away. Pain is a teacher, and sometimes it teaches you what you truly deserve by taking away what was never meant for you. Point 5. Never chase a woman who chooses another. Choose yourself instead. When she picks someone else, you might feel that desperate urge to win her back, to prove your worth. But chasing someone who walked away is not a sign of love. It's a sacrifice of your own self-respect. You don't fight for someone who didn't fight for you. That's not noble. That's self-abandonment. Instead, turn that energy inward. Focus on your goals. Hit the gym. Elevate your mindset. Real self-worth is quiet. It's when you say, if she couldn't value me at my best, she doesn't deserve to see me at my strongest. Let her leave. You don't fold. You rise. When you chase someone who chose someone else, you give them the power to determine your value. Take that power back. Prove to yourself that you were always enough. And remember, self-love isn't loud. It's not boastful. It's silent, steady, and strong. Point 6. Let go of the fantasy. Accept the reality. Most of the pain you're feeling isn't even about her. It's about the idea of her. The version you built in your head. You're not holding on to who she was. You're holding on to the dream, the potential, the what could have been. But reality is clearer. She made her choice. She moved on. And the sooner you let go of the fantasy, the sooner you heal. You can't grow while clinging to an illusion. Let the dream die, so the truth can finally set you free. Because once the fog lifts, you'll see things for what they truly were, not what your heart wanted them to be. Letting go of the fantasy doesn't mean you forget her. It means you remember yourself, your peace, your purpose, your power. Point 7. Let your growth be the goodbye. No, you weren't replaced. You were overlooked. And there's a big difference. She didn't upgrade. She just chose different. And while that may feel like a punch to the gut now, know this. Your value doesn't need to be proven. It needs to be lived. Eventually, she might look back and remember your calm, your consistency, your loyalty. But by then, you'll be too far ahead to care. Let your silence speak. Let your growth be your response. The right woman won't overlook you, and the wrong one? She'll only recognize your worth when it's too late. So don't scream your worth, show it. Don't try to win her back. Win yourself back. That's your power. That's your legacy. So if you're feeling this in your chest right now, and you're walking through that pain, drop it in the comments. I choose peace. Because that's your power now. Until next time, stay grounded, stay focused, and always remember, your value is not up for debate.